Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm Tandy, and today we'll be playing Callous Red and Pioneer as we test out cards from Duskmorn, Magic's newest set featuring a bunch of spooky cards. The plane of Duskmorn is a haunted house theme, and so there's tons of cards that are kind of creepy looking, kind of gross looking, but they have a lot of cool, roles in the engine. So it hits me in the feels a bit because I'm a big horror movie fan. And so a lot of the stuff is like tickling my, brain from my childhood watching scary movies and stuff. So I'm very into it. Today's deck, we're going to be focusing on the cheap creatures like Heartfire Hero and Emberheart Challenger, as well as prowess creatures like Monastery Swissbeer to generate a lot of pressure with spells as opposed to playing more creatures. That keeps us insulated from sweeper effects. When we go big, we can finish our opponent off with a card called Callous Sellsword, but really we're finishing them off with Burn Together. For 1 mana, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any other target, and then you sacrifice it. And so if you're sacrificing the Heartfire Hero, well, guess what? You get to deal double damage, and that's a lot of damage at the end of the game when you've pumped your Heartfire Hero with a Monstrous Rage, Turn Inside Out, Titan Strength, Ancestral Anger, and the like. This build is using the card Turn Inside Out from Duskmorn. For 1 red, you get +3/+0 until end of turn, and then when this creature dies, you get to Manifest Dread. Manifest Dread, you look at the top 2, you put 1 face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other goes to the graveyard. Now, Turn Inside Out is fighting with Titan Strength for a slot. Titan Strength, a +3/+1 Scry 1. That's all. And Titan Strength is quite strong. The Scry 1 comes up when you play it on your upkeep sometimes, and the toughness buff can matter when your opponent's doing some blocking. But from my experience, the cards I'm having the most trouble against are things that like kill my creature for 1 mana early. And something like Turn Inside Out can be a buff spell, but early in the game, it can also be a way for you to keep a creature on the table while your opponent is pressuring your threats. And so I'm hoping that Turn Inside Out works really nicely with the like fleeing stuff with Callous Sellsword and Burn Together, as well as the heroic and prowess stuff from Heartfire Hero and Emberheart Challenger. But in matchups against like Fatal Push, I'm hoping that Turn Inside Out is a way for us to keep the pressure on, whereas normally our pump spells would be quite bad against the black spot removal. Because Turn Inside Out does let you manifest Dread, and we're playing so many, I have gone a little bit harder on Claim to Fame. I'm playing 2 copies main and a 3rd in the sideboard. Because we have a little bit more graveyard synergies with Turn Inside Out, I think this card is a little bit better. And while I was only playing 1 in the previous build, I think 2 in this one is fine. One thing I'd like to note with Turn Inside Out is that with Callous Sellsword is like secretly your 2nd best card. And it's only your 2nd best card because Heartfire Hero is your best card. And the 2 together give this deck a significant boost in kill potential in matchups where a traditional red deck might not be able to do that. It feels a lot like playing a combo deck sometimes, and it feels a lot like playing a prowess deck sometimes, and often the 2 meet somewhere in the middle, and you gotta choose a lane, choose a direction. With Turn Inside Out and Callous Sellsword together, I envision mini games being won on the back of using Turn Inside Out early for extra damage, and then using Burn Together to kill a creature. And then instead of having that loss from sacrificing the creature to Burn Together, you are able to replace it with a manifest. And I think that allows Burn Together to function like a piece of interaction on top of being one of your best finishers. And so Callous Sellsword went from being Burn Together most of the time and Callous Sellsword sometimes to now it's Burn Together most of the time, Callous Sellsword sometimes, but the Burn Together just increases in potential. And when you turn one of your better cards into a much stronger card, it often changes how your deck plays. And so I'm hoping that Turn Inside Out just makes Callous Sellsword better, because Callous Sellsword's already incredible. Mana base, we're not playing Ramonep Ruins. I played against a few too many mirror matches for Ramonep Ruins. Sulphur Springs I think is good, and you can't really afford to play too many pain lands. And I did not find the 2 damage at the end of the game won me very many games. Den of the Bugbear, however, has been quite strong, so I'm playing 2 of those, as well as a Silken Zon to give me a leg up. We are replacing the Rayman apps with Blightstep pathways with a plan to play them on red most of the time. After sideboard, it is more acceptable to play them on black because you have Thoughtseize and Fatal Push and some other black cards, which we'll get to in a second. But the mana base is essentially pathway is red, and it will be red 90% of the time until you need to play it on black to potentially win the game. And I think that that's an acceptable land, and the fact that it's a red source that doesn't deal us damage is great. We need to play some number of mountains to protect ourselves from Field of Ruin type effects, things that blow up our land and let us go get a land. And so we're playing 2 mountains. You know, it's mountain, whatever, not special. Yeah, so that's kind of the nature of Turn Inside Out in the deck. I'm really hoping that it comes up big, but I honestly have no idea because it's brand new. This is the first time I've ever cast it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it feels. Sideboard, I've done a lot of work on it. I'm playing some Thoughtseizes, but I don't know if I want 4. Some Fatal Pushes, but I don't want more than a few because it's hard to turn on Revolt. For matchups that I want push, it's often the mirror, and I have a Chandra's Defeat in there to kind of compensate. But Chandra's Defeat is also pretty good against Mayhem Devil, and Fatal Push is not in our deck because it's harder for us to turn on the Revolt. And so I'm kind of doing a 2 Fatal Push, 1 Chandra's Defeat for the mirrors, and then against the Mayhem Devils, I only bring in the Chandra's Defeat in terms of like removal. Pyroclasm, pretty solid new addition to the format, but this is going to be for aggro matchups, and many of our creatures will dodge Pyroclasm naturally from when we cast Pyroclasm. Obviously, if you have Heartfire Hero Pyroclasm your opener, you have to sequence in such a way where it doesn't get caught up in it, but that shouldn't be too hard. Couple Unlicensed Hearst, Eat the Graveyard, couple Feed the Swarm. There's been a lot of High Noon running around lately, and I want a couple answers to it. It is quite good against us, and many people are main decking it, which is really annoying. And so I think Feed the Swarm is going to be pretty solid against them. Third Claim to Fame, and we are a Gigantha deck. This is Inside Out. Let's play League. No lands in the opener, a classic. It's much better, but still a bit awkward because we don't have a 1-drop. Simic says, I've subbed for a quarter of a century, 25 years. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I want to put back a land or not. I think the 3rd land here is pretty good because it allows me to triple spell maybe with Emberheart Challenger, but getting to that spot I think would be nice anyway. And so we'll just keep this, keep all our spells. If we draw a land, great. If we don't draw a land, I think we'll be fine. Okay, Seachrome Coasts, interesting. No 1-drop. A little bit of a bummer. I may actually play Callous Sellsword on 2. I know that most people won't do that, but I value Emberheart Challenger really highly, and I think that it's just good to punish people when you can. I guess there's some chance they don't have removal here, so we'll just play Challenger now. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to attack with it. There's no reason to. They just bump it. No 1-drop, though, really changes the dynamics of this game. But we have a lot of punishes here, so I'm pretty stoked. I'm going to play Turn Inside Out, and I could have even main phased this, but I kind of wanted them to block or flash in something to double block. And this gives them a chance to. Playing my land here before pumping, though, is going to cause some issues if we hit a land off of this. So certainly could have played this sequence a bit differently. I don't know if I want to do anything else. I think I'm cool just dealing them 6. Just saying go. And now if we hit another thing to play, we can Reckless Rage on their turn and get a card. We could have dealt an extra damage by maining the Reckless Rage, but it just walks right into Spell Queller and stuff. I think Callous Sellsword there would have been a little awkward as well. All right, let's start with turn inside out this time. So in case we hit something off the top, see if they want to do any blocking. All right, we'll see if they block. If no blocks, we'll go Reckless Rage. Okay, so I think this is fine. Say go. I guess we could just cast Callous Sellsword. Could buy Gigantha. What are the odds this dies? Very low, right? Let's just buy Gigantha. Nothing on the instep either. Very strange. Opponent's playing us very weirdly. Traction Specialist. Okay, that makes way more sense why they've been playing it, how they played it. Shacklegeist. Okay. I'm going to target the Extraction Specialist so that they can't have a life-linking blocker. They'll likely tap down my Emberheart Challenger here, but that's okay. I'll see what I get off of the Emberheart Challenger's ability. We get a Swiftspear. That's pretty good. Now we can go Swiftspear Kumano. And maybe even throw something at the Supreme Phantom to kill it. Or maybe the Shacklegeist. Playing as Spirits is tricky. You have to do a lot of like inefficient plays to punish their flash stuff. Alright, so this can't block, so they're forced to tap here, and we'll get in some damage, and then I think we'll burn together on the Phantom with Swiftspear. Play tap land, so we can maybe Bugbear next turn. And we're doing this now. It's going to become a 3 when we do it. Next turn we can Sellsword plus some other stuff. But Emberheart Challenger basically never dying has been really nice. All right, so Shacklegeist can't block. Let's declare an attack and see what happens. It'll probably get tapped, and I think that's fine. And then we'll go Hardfire Hero plus Gigantha. Maybe we Gigantha first. So it gets the counter and it can't be Spellquellered. Maybe we don't even play Hardfire Hero. I think I don't play Hardfire Hero because I just don't want to run into Spellqueller. Tough turn here. Let's we can't attack with any haste stuff, so let's move to combat and see how they tap, and then we'll figure out attacks. They're gonna tap Gigantha more than likely. I can maybe activate Den and swing with everything. But I think I would rather just deploy more threats. Attacking into the Spellcaller seems loose. Alright, so this Spellcaller is going to target the Heartfire Hero. I can... Oh god, I want to burn together the Emberheart Challenger on the Shacklegeist, because we get a card out of it. And then we can just play the Sellsword to replace. I'm going to... I think I'm going to kill Shacklegeist, or try to. Let's see what we get off of the Emberheart Challenger, because we might get something cool to play. Hardfire Hero? Okay, we'll play that before it goes away if they let us. Gonna make it very hard for them to block Gigantha. Okay, so we get Rattle Changed here, but I think we still lose our creature. Unless... Oh, maybe... Oh, because I do have to target my own creature. I wonder if I still lose it. I think I do. It's a bummer. Playing around Rattle Change is very difficult at this stage. It's always going to be able to protect something because they have so much mana. They're also very close to just like turning the corner and killing us, so hopefully cutting the running volley doesn't end up being that bad. I think I played the early game maybe a bit weak. Could have been more cavalier with my self swords, but I was just playing around. Spell Coiler. But the cool thing about Emberheart is that you don't really care what happens to it as long as you get the free card out of it. We were lucky to get so many cards out of it this game because they just didn't have a lot of ways to stop it. So let's see, this is what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Let's see how they attack. My guess is they attack with nothing. Okay. Alright, no attacks. Next turn we can animate Den and swing in, and if we draw Monstrous Rage, we might be able to get them. But it's going to be hard. If they ever decide to just start attacking and can survive, then we're dead. Like, if they hit us for 5 here, and they have one more creature, like that. But it's hard for them to do that. It really is. I wonder if the turn I played Hardfire was a mistake. Maybe I should just play more passively. Alright, Spectral Sailor are going to come down here. They're going to do at least one tap, probably 2. We didn't draw anything to play. I'll just animate. See if they tap. This is going to essentially force them to tap this before attacks if they want to. And if they don't want to, that's fine. We got to figure out how we want to block. Or how they'll block, and then we'll figure out how we'll attack if we even decide to attack. I animated this pretty quickly and moved to combat to give them the idea that maybe I drew Monstrous Rage, and so they may tap differently or block differently. They might not tap anything. A couple of 3/4s here just like chews up my board pretty well. Oh, they're gonna draw a card first. That's smart. And now if they draw a one mana Spectral Sailor bounce spell can change their play, or like Essence Flux or something. How's it going, Mason? Alright, Denbug Bregan tap, that's fine. Alright, so if we swing with everybody, we lose these 2 and they take 4. Is that worth? I don't think so. Let's just say go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15. So another Lord and we die. Cam! Cam comes in with a 70-month streak. Does everyone remember to sub to Todd's OnlyFans? Yo, would that be a hit? Would that be a hit, chat? You just let me know. I have no moral problems with doing something like that, personally. Alright, they're attacking for 3. Next turn, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. Another flash creature here is probably enough. Alright, we're going to move to combat. When they tap Gigantha, we can use it to animate Den. and pretend like we still have something. Hope you're doing well, Cam. This is not a good turn inside out matchup. All their interaction is like tapping, exiling, just something with everything. This can't block. I don't know. They ate two things. If they have a flash creature, we die, I think. But this can't block. I don't know. Oh, it can eat block here. I forgot that I played a flyer. That sucks. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're so close to being dead anyway. I think that this is just a fine attack. I mean, I don't know. Next turn we can just draw like our last burn together on the Heartfire hero, and if they have nothing, we can win. But they get to draw a card with Spectral. They get to do some other stuff. Also, we just can't block anything, right? Playing against spirits is just like a very static experience. They have air superiority. Okay, so I think that that's enough. I think that's exactly 17. This is definitely a matchup where the like buff effects are much worse than like play with fire. Play with fire early on one of their creatures could have been quite strong. They've protected well with Supreme Phantom. Like Shacklegeist has never been a 2/2 though, so. But something like that could have definitely turned the tide of the game. I also maybe Reckless Rage the wrong thing. Maybe I should have played differently. All right, so I have quite a few weak cards in the matchup. I'm going to pull them off to the side, and then we're going to talk about them before we cut anything. But I think that these 10, because of their nature in the matchup, are kind of lackluster. Slickshot Show Off, I think, is my pick for worst. They don't block that well, so I think Turn Inside Out is fine. I'm going to bring in some Fatal Push for sure. I'm considering the Pyroclasm, because if they don't have their Lord, it's quite good. But they don't really go that direction that much, but maybe I want to try it just to see. Urbrass Forge can be okay if it resolves, and we're on the play, so it should. And Thoughtseize can be okay, and so I think I want to do like these 8, and we can do like these 8 out, something like this. Because I think Claim to Fame is weak, Slickshot's really bad, but Turn Inside Out is just a pump spell, and pump spells can be good for our, early draws or whatever. Makes it impossible to block. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's a 1-lander, but we have 2 1-drops, and all of our spells cost 1, except for Spell Sword. It kind of costs 1. I don't think that this is a particularly strong hand or anything. I would have loved to have like a natural creature. Portable Hole makes things a bit worse for me. 1-mana interaction is tough. If we draw a land, there's a good chance I just play a 3/3 Sellsword because my hand sucks. Shacklegeist. I think I'm just going to play Sellsword. A 3/3 here is pretty good, and I can use this Fatal Push whenever. And Thoughtseize kind of like starts the fight next turn if I wanted to with the transform of this. They also have to play another creature to use Shacklegeist, so they're going to be tapped down if they want to tap something down. Or sorry, they're going to be like low on mana if they want to tap something down. Yep, Skyclave Apparition. Alright, we're gonna attack. And then I'm gonna Thoughtseize, see what's going on, and then probably Fatal Push. They'll tap this down. Let's go Thoughtseize you, see what you got. Very strong hand against us. A lot of Skyclave Apparitions. Huh. I want to take Portable Hole. Alright, so now they're probably going to Skyclave my Sellsword, and when they do that, hopefully they do it main phase, and then I can push it and then block. Your Mutavault. Gotta be a little careful on the Skyclave proccing, because this will get buffed as well. Let's see how they stack it. We may have to target Shacklegeist or the Mausoleum Wanderer instead. Man, they're so... This player's good. So they even stacked it right, so now this is going to grow before this exiles this. It's a bummer, because if I let this grow, then I can't push this. And this is the failing of Fatal Push in the deck. And this is why I've been like leaning away from it. A lot of lists are playing 4, and I think it's just like kind of weak in general. We don't have that much removal here either, and so these Skyclaves are just nuts against us. It's tough. Play Swift Spirit. We're not dead though. But they do have another Skyclave Apparition in hand, which is pretty tough. And so we'll just play Hardfire Hero, take our licks, move on to the next match after we're dead. I know, Donald. People are real hateful towards this deck right now. I don't think Spirits are the best deck at the moment, but I don't think that they're bad. And a good Spirits player is certainly something to pay attention to. Maybe I should have taken Mausoleum Wanderer. That was probably the move to prevent what happened from happening. Because I can kill either Skyclave Apparition should have come up. But Skyclave Apparition is just quite nice against our deck in general. Alright, I'm dead. We're not that close to lethal. Whatever, we'll keep. We'll do like a Callous or turn inside out on 2 just to maybe get some damage if we need to, but I guess we'll also just go for Emberheart Challenger on 2 since we don't mind if they kill our stuff because we're very dense with creatures. Claim to Fame, a nice draw. They'll kill this if they have something. Alright, well, I'll just play another Challenger. A Black Source would be nice so that we can claim to Fame at some point, but it's unnecessary for the moment because we just have plenty of things to do with more Ember Hearts. If all they do is picklock into turn, I'm pretty happy. Although if they find, cheap removal, it's tough. Oh, they just milled 4 and missed. They have Fable in their deck for some reason. This doesn't work with Fable. Instant Sorcery and Fairy. So, note to self, chat. Do not put Fable in your Picklock Prankster deck. It's not going to work out for you. Not gonna. Alright, so let's go, Emberheart Challenger. Bring back this Challenger for black. This will pump Prowess as well. And then next turn, if they tap out or if we have a nice spot, we'll just go for Inside Out Sellsword to kill on the Hardfire. We're just basically the Ember Hearts are like really tough for them later in the game, and it seems like they drew a lot of blue lands instead of red lands, and so they're unable to maybe deploy all of their defensive measures. And so we can kind of overload them with inside out, maybe targeting here, prowessing these, and that's tough for them. Then we attack for 6, and then sellsword on this is 4 more, or something like that. All right, let's go Ancestral Anger here. Let's see if they have a response. And then if they kill this, that's fine. We send both of these. We turn inside out the one that doesn't die, and then we kill the other one, or kill the other one with Burn Together and end the game. We could also go for turn inside out just to deal burst damage, but we just have the kill here, so it's fine. And that was beating Phoenix with removal on 1, removal on 3, removal on 4. They chose not to removal on 2. They died. I don't love Herbrest Forge in the matchup, but it is a way for us to just like weather the storm of interaction. I do think this is a pretty good turn inside out matchup. I have, I guess, too many cards to bring in. Maybe Thoughtseize is kind of weak. I do think Thoughtseize is rather lackluster against Phoenix, for whatever that's worth. I think Reckless Rage is quite bad. Maybe we don't want Herbrest Forge. Maybe we just don't need that much. I do think this matchup is fine. This, maybe we can trim an Anger, or I think Monstrous Rage is good. I think we can trim an Anger. And so we get 2 Hearths and a Claim to Fame. Pretty strong setup. We can think about, you know, Thing in the Eyes, things like that. And I think we just ignore them and try to kill them. But with turn inside out, I think just having Burn Together be spot removal for those things is just nice. Game 2, opener is Shite, easy mull. I'll keep this one. 2 land. I'm going to put back one of the 2 Callous Swords. I think it's obviously great, but I don't think we'll need the second one anytime soon. And I really just want to see if turn inside out's good. So here, so Spire Bluff Canal, this is something we actually talk about quite a bit when we talk about this deck, is Kumano allows you to essentially play a threat here that doesn't die to 1-mana removal. And it also grows your next thing to maybe also not die to Fire Impulse unless they have like a certain hand. This does walk into Spell Pierce, but it's so much more likely they have 1-mana removal than Spell Pierce. And so next turn we can like Emberheart Challenger, it'll be a 3/3, and so if they don't have Spell Mastery, then it won't die to anything except for Fire Lightning Axe. So we can go, well, I guess we can't kill the Ledger Shredder no matter what we do this turn. So let's just play Emberheart Challenger and attack for 3 since it gets the counter. And now there's a good chance that this dies. I don't want to sugarcoat that. And so maybe we should play Heartfire Hero and hold up and turn inside out the whole time. So far, this has not impressed me, but only because we have played one game where we didn't draw it, and we played a matchup where it was basically just worse in Titan Strength. And I think that that is kind of the trick. Is like if you play against a Fatal Push Thoughtseize deck, where you're just going to be all over the place, I guess. Alright, I'm going to attack with this card. I don't want to attack with this. They can play 2 spells and block, and it just like puts me in a bad spot if they do that exactly. Alright, so they're just going to axe this now. I kind of want to manifest dread it. Hey, this is bad. I'm just going to let it die. Growing the bird is bad, and I've been considering boarding in Fatal Pushes in the matchup to help out with Ledger Shredder exactly. Reckless Rage can rot in your hand if they are able to dismantle your creatures early. But mostly it's just like a very fun back and forth matchup that just is full of very weird games. I am extremely surprised to see this card. I don't know why they would have it. Like kind of bothering me because this is just like not something I should be concerned with. But if it ends up killing me, I'm going to be sad. Alright, so if they do go for a kill spell here on this, I'll turn inside out it. They're going to go for that instead. That's fine. They get to connive again with the Ledger Shredder. Huge bummer that Shredder is dual-sided in nature. I feel like they're not playing Phoenix, chat, because they have Fable, Crackling Drake in their deck. I think they're just like blue-red stuff. And so I think I'll side out my Unlicensors for game 3. Blue-red Drake. I'm doing this just to get it out of the way so we can go to the next game. Ledger Shredder's too much. I'm going to cut these 2 hearses and we're just going to bring in a Fatal Push. Can't attack, can't do anything. Might as well just go for the risky dingo play. I guess we wouldn't even be able to kill this stupid guy anyway. That was probably just bad. But no Phoenix. Let's see if the Fatal Pushes are good enough. Blue-Red Drake with FOMO doesn't seem bad, but I don't know if it's good. So I think that FOMO is good. I think the card Fear of Missing Out is extremely good. I misread it a couple times, but after reading it again, I still very much like it. Untapping 1 creature means you want to pair with like a Death Shadow or a Crackling Drake for sure. One of those big things that you can untap. So parallelograms. Boomer is it Drakes? I mean, they're playing Picklock though, right? So the fact that they picklocked into like Fable the Mirror Breaker in game number 2 is pretty funny. Or give haste on boats. How does that work? Oh, does the untap give it haste? I don't know. I'm gonna keep this hand. I will Heartfire Hero instead of Kumano because Kumano later will be good with Show Off. And when we're on the play, I think it's okay to just like have this thing die because we're just like pushing damage. I'm gonna Kumano here because I'm positive this is gonna die. And so I'm going to Kumano and attack so that I can get this above 2 for a Torch and a Fire Impulse. And if they go for a kill spell on this, I'll just Inside Out it and trade Inside Out for a 2/2. And some extra damage. This sucks. So annoying. We could Fatal Push our own thing, and it deals them 2 damage, but I think I'd rather just save it for Ledger Shredder, which they have a pretty heavy incentive to play here. Because it punishes my double spell. So far this has looked bad. I'm probably not going to play it. Or at least not in high numbers. The Titan Strength there would have saved my creature, and they would have just died. Now, and this is not even good testing because they just like kept a 1-lander, and now they're just not going to do anything. And also, they probably just cut Phoenix from their deck for some 4 and 5 drops, which is just like really not how you're supposed to go about building blue decks, if I'm being honest. I guess there's some chance that they have kept like a Landlight Ledger Shredder hand with a couple 1-mana red removal, maybe a Pyroclasm. But Pyroclasm isn't as strong against us as it is against some other aggro decks. Okay. They just have removal. They play around this perfectly every time, even though no one's ever cast it against them before. Okay, so they're not tapping out, but this is another spot where a scry here would be quite valuable. So good draw here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with this just in case we have hit a a land to play. I haven't played a land this turn. Didn't hit it. This is gonna put them to 1, so their Shivan Reef doesn't tap for colored mana anymore. And now if we get Pyroclasm, we'll lose everything. So maybe the mirror. Opponent has Giganta as well. We're going to start with Pathway on red. Normally, you want to play Pathway later in the games, but in this situation, I might want to play Blood Crypt tapped later to save life points. Being on the draw, though, we like don't have, freaking Play with Fire, so I think we're just going to get beat up. 3/3 Sellsword. Opponent is a good player, chat. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Yeah, currently it's in place of Titan Strength. Attack, and then if they don't block, which they shouldn't because it's got Manifest on it, I'm going to burn together. Well, that's fine, I guess. I'm just trading Inside Out for this, and they're still taking an assload of damage. I guess I'll Monstrous Rage should just do Massive Trample since they blocked. It'll still trade, but it deals just way more damage. And I still get the Manifest. So we'll Manifest the Slick Shot. Next turn we can transform it, Ancestral Anger it. I'm not sure if that was the right play. I think attacking first was just a better play. But I really didn't think that they would block. I don't know why. Didn't think they would. Alright, no blocks. If they tap out for a buff spell here, they die. Okay. So might have to play Sellsword here as a 2/2. We can die next turn. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle Ancestral Anger. Todd, do you think Lotus Field will be a player at the RC? I saw that picked up in popularity recently. I did see that it won a challenge recently. I don't think it's very good against our deck, and I think our deck will probably be in the top 5 most played. So personally, I wouldn't, but I don't think it's like a cardinal sin or whatever to play Lotus Field. It's just Lotus Field. So this is 5, 9, 10, 11. So we're dead to removal spell and pump spell. We block here. Are we dead to Titan Strength? 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're dead to Titan Strength anyway, right? And so I think we just take it. 5, 9, 10, 11. We're dead to Titan Strength. We're dead to Monstrous Rage. We're not dead to... We are dead. We were not dead to Reckless Rage. Oh, whatever. I'll just go to 1. They have it. They have it. Who cares? Infuriate. +3/+2. Okay. I think that this card is much worse than Titan Strength for whatever it's worth. The Scry is very valuable. I thought maybe, was it the one there? There's one that like gives a trample. Crash through. Not crash through. It's one of the ones from Callous, I think. Alright, so the mirror match. We're probably going to be hitting each other with creature removal after board, so we'll bring in a Pyroclasm, some Fatal Pushes, and a Chandra's Defeat. And I like to Claim to Fame as well. We just trade back and forth a lot. I think this is a matchup where Show Off can be really good or really bad. After sideboard, you just have ways to kill it for 1 mana, so it can look awkward. Normally, I would board out some removal spell or some pump spells, but I don't really love boarding out Turn Inside Out. But it did look pretty good there, though. I don't know. I think mostly I'm just missing Titan Strength. Scry makes the deck function sometimes. I don't want all these. Alright. I'll play first. We'll keep this hand. Turn 1 Kamano quite strong, and we can Pyroclasm them when they're tapped out. Push main is cheating? Yeah. I've had 1 push quite a bit, and I think 1 push is main. Main is fine to go with the 2 Reckless Rage. I am only sad because I was very close to winning and just didn't have it. Didn't ever have it. Kamano first. Maybe Kamano first is a mistake because of Pyroclasm. We're going to play... They have a heavy incentive to play a creature here, and it probably should be Emberheart Challenger or something similar, like a 2-drop to use mana efficiently. If it's like Swiftspear plus removal on the Emberheart, I'll be pretty sad. But I can still go Swiftspear, Reckless Rage. I can also, offer trades with Kumano before I Pyroclasm. If I get to untap with Emberheart against a creature and I have Reckless Rage for it, I don't imagine I'm going to come close to losing the game. And so maybe that's just a reason to wait, right? But now there's going to be a 2. They can Reckless Rage this and this. They're letting me untap, and they have this. Okay, so no matter what, I can Reckless Rage this and this, and I'll still get a card, even if they kill my Challenger. And this is something I like to stress when I'm playing this deck, is that I don't really care if my Heart Challenger dies, if I'm able to target it. And so, like, even if they Fatal Push this here, that's fine, right? We still get the Ancestral Anger. Maybe I should have played Swiftspear first. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, though, in terms of with the rest of my mana. Yeah, see, so Chandra's Defeat here is fine, right? Doesn't matter. We'll take 2 damage from this. We'll get us exiled, so we don't even take the 2 damage. Alright, so now it's Swiftspear plus Ancestral. The answer also might be to cut Ancestral Anger. I haven't been in love with it, and some people are already playing Might of the Meek, and so maybe it's like a 4 Monstrous Rage, 3 Titan Strength, 2 Inside Out, something like that. Yeah, we're just trying it out SSA, and I think that it's pretty good with Burn Together. I did a whole run through when we first began. All right, so let's start with bring back my awesome Duder. And I'll go ahead and kill his thing so we can get another card off the Emberheart Challenger. And again, once again, I don't really care if it dies because we already get the free card off of it. And so I initiate at sorcery speed like a significant amount with Emberheart Challenger because I like getting Swiss Spears and lands off the top of my deck so that I can continue playing more things after my opponent has like burned their removal spell. Infuriate. Okay, it's still gonna die. Monstrous Rage. Okay, so it's gonna survive. So if it blocks anything, that thing will kill it. So let's just attack. I'm gonna target the etching with the Monstrous Rage, just because I'm not sure to have that die. And also, if I get a thing on it, then Pyroclasm doesn't kill it. If I get the roll token on it, probably gonna die. I think that's fine, no matter what happens. If this is Reckless Rage, then the etching will die. Okay, so they kill the Swiss Spear, so that means they're gonna take 5 from this, and then these will trade. So they're 4 versus a 3-power creature. I don't know why they. Okay, I guess they thought I targeted the other thing. I don't know why they would think that. All right, so the claim to fame was quite strong there. Maybe I won it over one of the ancestral angers. All right, on the draw with Pyroclasm, this will be a good test to see. And if they have just like Kamana on one, it does just like knock all the wind out of my sails. But I think in tandem with some bigger spot removal like Fatal Push and Reckless Rage, the Pyroclasm helps you like clean up on really tough boards where your opponent's able to like overload your sweepers or overload your spot removal. Okay, so here is Kumano, and I'll probably just Chandra's defeat whatever they target with it. Or buff with it, rather. Now, maybe they just go like Heartfire here, put a counter on it, and then Swiss Spear attack for 1. Something like that would be pretty nice for me. Manifold Mouse. Alright, so it's a 2-3, and it's going to be somewhat problematic later, so let's just kill it for 1. And now we go for... I don't mind the Slick Shot show off just to get in a damage. It's very likely to die, and so I don't think I'm going to have the problem with it getting popped by my own Pyroclasm. And if I draw some way to pump its toughness, like Monstrous Rage, that'll be okay. Mostly I just expect this to die, and I want Pyroclasm for when they have Kumano and like a Swiss Spear in play and are tapped out. And if that ever happens, it'll be good. But that's also why I only have 1, because I think there's just spots on the draw, spots where you're getting swarmed, where it's viable. All right, I'm going to do something kind of cheeky here. I'm going to actually Ancestral Anger their creature, and then I'm still going to draw a card if they kill my show off. And I can push here actually to make sure that my oh, cancel. Okay, so the Chandra's defeat's fine. My thing's going to get exiled, which is also fine, but I still get to draw a card off the Ancestral Anger. And now I can play Kumano and then tap Blood Crypt, and then hopefully they play another creature and I get to snipe it. Or they have to use a pump spell to save. But I won't have a vulnerable creature next turn for my own Pyroclasm, and so next turn I'm like pretty likely to deploy it. I could have attacked this aggressively, but I didn't need to. But pumping my Slick Shot while targeting this, I think, is a good play. All right, so in case they have a protection spell, I'm going to Pyroclasm this now. And then I'm going to play this after, because if they save this, I want to push it probably. And so we traded Pyroclasm for Monstrous Rage and then push for Kamano, and I think that's a fine trade. Now it's Gigantha versus my stuff if they have a land. Gigantha's pretty good here, not going to lie. They found a nice little spot to buy it, and it's going to be quite large. Alright, so let's go Swiss Beer, Hardfare Hero. Here we go. We'll take the 5 for sure if they attack, but my guess is they'll play defense. Yeah, I'm not going to block. I'll just take whatever big buff effect they have. This is only 7. I could chump here, and then I can reanimate it and do some buffing or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like that's just going to run afoul of quite a few things. Alright, so we can go play this on red. I can start with Burn Together Heartfire Hero. That'll deal them 4. They go to 12. Then I go Claim to Fame, bring it back. And then this is a bunch of stuff on Swiss Beer. I'm going to just try it. Let's see, is this lethal? I guess it's probably not lethal. Let's see, so if we target this with Burn Together, that's 4. They're 12. I bring it back. This is a 3 now. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. And so I think we're just shy. So maybe it's this. See what they do. Hopefully they just have nothing. They Fatal Push, that's fine. We lose the Burn Together, but we do get to still go Claim to Fame and do a bunch of damage. And they're not threatening lethal with what they just have in play. And so maybe we hold back Kumano to block. Or maybe we just play Sellsword because... Let's see, I can give this haste, attack for a bunch. This is 3... It's not lethal. It's not even close to lethal. I'm dead to Prowess next turn if I just Fame and attack. Maybe we just play this 3/3. I like that Sellsword still gets to go to exile even if they kill the thing that I pump, because it means it doesn't get like countered on state base and go to the graveyard. Because I have 2 targets. It's not just the creature I target, it's a creature and the target. Manifold Mouse can give double strike to Emberheart Challenger and give it a trigger. Doesn't get Prowess though, just gets the off the top card buff. But this is a really strong pickup for them because they're able to oh, they found Burn Together. Are you kidding me? Now we just have to block both. Alright, so we'll chump here and then eat this, or trade for this. Claim to Fame on Hero to make it a 4. Well, you can't play Claim if there's nothing in the graveyard to target, and we had no creatures in the graveyard. So, and you can't just play Fame from hand. I'm somewhat confident that what I did was right. So now they can play Burn Together, and they can sack this and deal me 4. Or 5, rather. If I go to 2, and they lose this. They have Sellsword and double Manifold Mouse. Logging with you on Giganta? Yeah, I mean, they also had Fatal Push, though, right? So they could have stopped us. They could have stopped us no matter what we do. Also had a draw step, so I didn't want to just, like, you know, if they have a removal spell, I want to get full value out of my Claim to Fame if I can. Okay. So they did put me to 2, but they have no cards, but these 2 are both lethal. So let's just buy Giganta, play Black Leakless tapped, and say go. Next turn they'll maybe send in, we'll just do some blocking. We can die to a lot of stuff, though. Any removal spell, any haste 2-power creature. This will be like a 4/4 5/5 or something. Oh, it only only under your control, so it'll be a 4/4 if they send both of these. 2-mana 4/4. Like, I didn't know what they had. They had one card. I guessed it was a removal spell, but I did not know. But I also knew that if I chump blocked on the previous turn, it saves some life, but it's not like putting me into the best position. But if I'm already planning to burn together, which I don't know that I was, you know, plans change every single turn based on new information. These are both lethal attackers thanks to double strike, so we'll block. I wonder if 2 Manifold Mouse is just good in the deck. Maybe over Dreadful Arcanist, because it just constantly targets your early guys. And it's itself a double strike, and it's a 2 or a 4 drop. Indy's probably going to kill me here. I don't really have much recourse against 2 blockers. No cards in hand. I guess I can draw 1 mana red removal spell. Everything got exiled, so the Callous Lord doesn't get bigger. That's funny. Really funny. Okay, GG. Alright, so initial experiment with Turn Inside Out, not worth. I think it pushed the deck into a more gimmicky direction, which I didn't like. Still not sold on playing this many Claim to Fame main deck, but I thought it would be better with Turn Inside Out, but I think in 3 matches we manifested 1 time, which is just kind of rough. And it was like a spot that wasn't even that good when it manifested. It was a 2/2. I don't know. Overall, Turn Inside Out felt like a worse Titan Strength, and the 1 toughness mattered, and the Scry mattered. And not having either of those, I think, put us in a worse position than if we just played Titan Strength instead and played the exact other cards. But Turn Inside Out is also the reason why we're playing 4 Sellsword and 2 Claim to Fame. And so if we're just not manifesting very regularly, then these cards also get a bit worse. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to go back to the drawing board on it and see if I can come up with a better main deck configuration. I do think the sideboard is pretty solid. I haven't really felt like I've been missing out on like certain missing pieces or anything like that. And so I think the sideboard's pretty reasonable. And if you play 2 Claim to Fame main, I think 1 of the board's good. 1 main, 1 board is good. And 1 main, 2 board is pretty good. And I do like Claim to Fame better than Urbrass Forge against Rakdos and against is it Phoenix? But there are some matchups where Claim to Fame is not good, where Urbrass Forge is excellent. And so I'm kind of just hedging my bets and having like 2 of each or 2 or 3 of each, and I think that that's fine. Anyway, make sure to check out our sponsors. The Tandy stream is sponsored by Apex Gaming. They're a game store out of Caldwell, Ohio, specializing in the Apex series. The Apex Invitational is coming up in November, so head on over to apexgaming.gg for more info. Ross Mayer and myself just got done doing a big weekend where we did commentary over a double Modern Open weekend. We had a team Modern and a solos Modern. It was a ton of fun. We're also sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield is a great website for building and sharing deck lists with your friends. If you ever want to know what deck lists we're playing on stream, you can check out my own personal Moxfield. There should be a link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this live, ! Deck or deck list in the chat will take you to my Moxfield page. Lastly, we are sponsored by Paradise Games and Gifts. Paradise Games and Gifts is a store out of Fairfax, Virginia. They specialize in trading card games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and now Disney's Lorcana. If you're interested in picking up some singles for your next event, check out their website at gcpairodice.com. That's gcpairodice.com. Thank you so much for our sponsors. And I am Tandy. I write articles about strategy in various RCQs formats. I've been working a lot on Pioneer lately because the regional championship's coming up and I'm qualified for it. You can check out all my written work at patreon.com/Tandy, including sideboard guides. And you can even get coaching from me if that's something you're interested in on the Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.